What is going on, guys? This is Snorlaxus here, bringing you something I am very excited about. We have what is Season 10 of the PSBC, which will be the next league I plan on uploading here. Spoiler alert, if you haven't watched my last video, go ahead and check that one out. It's a very fun battle, but the NNDL, the league that I was uploading previously here, has come to an end for me. I lost in the first round playoffs there in those quarterfinals against our good pal Scoot Zamcrow. He is a great coach, great battler, and he brought some very fun tactics that ended up working very well against my team. I didn't have much I could do about it. So that league is over for me for the time being. Not sure how long we'll wait to redraft and reset the league after playoffs are over. I will be uploading that one again, at least I plan to, as long as the league continues and they want me back. But for now, I need a new league to upload, and it worked out perfectly that PSBC, which is one of my first leagues that me and a lot of my good buddies are all in together. This is one of the leagues that really got me into the pro battling and stuff like that. We decided it was time to kind of just establish the league because we had started season 10 previously about maybe a year ago or so, but we got about maybe a third of the way through the season, and a lot of coaches were feeling kind of burned out of the meta, just really busy with school and work and other stuff, and so we decided to kind of take a hiatus and just kind of explore our options with the draft. So it came to a point where we decided, hey, it's kind of time. Like most of us were back to a point where we wanted to get back into leagues, and we all wanted to play together again. So we reestablished a league, and we decided to do it a little differently than we've always done. We've always just done the standard like 11 or 12 week season tiered drafting, tiers 1 through 5, and some free picks. But we decided to keep the tier picks, but we decided to go APA style. So if you haven't watched the APA league on YouTube at all, there's some larger YouTubers in it. It's a really fun league. I definitely suggest it if you're ever bored or just want some good battling tips. Watch some of those guys. But the way they do it is they do 3 different drafts throughout the season. So they do a 12-week season, and then every 4 weeks they redraft, which is really nice for the sake of getting to just redraft if your first draft didn't work out for you, or if it's just not your style, or if you tried something new and it just isn't what you expected. So it's nice because it keeps things from getting stale, 1, and 2, it does allow, if a coach does really bad in the first 4 weeks with his current team, to kind of recuperate his losses and start with something that he knows that he can get some wins with. So starting out the draft, I was pick number 10, which was kind of unfortunate because there are 16 coaches, so I'm like kind of in the middle, but kind of further down. So a lot of the high tier threats would be gone by the time it got to me, and I don't have any sort of a wheel pick, which I always like having. But kind of 3 mods I was looking at going into the draft were Tapu Koko, Landorus T, or Celesteela, just really easy mods to build around, really just great draft mods. But I knew they'd probably all be gone, which they were by the time it got to me. So when it did get to me, I was just kind of looking at what was left on the board, and I was thinking to myself, I don't really know what I want anymore. Like I didn't really have anything else in my mind. I was just like, what'd be something really easy just to build around, no matter what direction I decided to head. So I saw Mew was on the board, and I was like, hey, why not? Mew is something I've used plenty of times before. It is a very versatile mon. If you haven't used it, you can see those stats. It's got base 100s all around the board. It's got reliable recovery, rocks. It has hazard removal, lots of attacks. It's a great mon. And like I said, it's really easy to build around in the sense that really it can handle its own, and you don't have to worry about building around it too much to support it, but it supports other things on my team very well. So I was very excited to get this here. With each mod, I'll kind of run through the reasons I drafted it. Obviously, as we get further in the draft, more things will have more reasons. And maybe some quick like sets or moves that just I might point out just as far as what I've used in the past, what I might be using, just to kind of give you an idea if you haven't used them before. So Mew, I have lots of things from Mew, but we'll go Tickles. Tickles is a favorite of mine here. So obviously, like I said, Mew has a ton of different sets you can run. So I'll just go with a standard like bulky set. We'll throw leftovers on there. Let's just say he's got Stealth Rock, Soft Boiled. Let's go Defog too. Why not? And then we'll go U-turn. So let's make him a rocks pivot there. So yeah, it's like I said, Mew obviously can be very bulky. Is just very defensive yet offensive at the same time. The way that we do it too is we do 3 Z move users. You can have 2 of them be any you think you want, and then you need at least 1. It's a tier 4 or a tier 5, which are the 2 lower tiers. So like on my team, that would be Raichu, Tyrantrum, Blastoise, Escavalier. So I will point out my Z-Mons as we go. Mew is my first one. So like if I wanted to run more offensive set, let's just say we did ban Medium Z, which I knew going into it. So let's say Secinium Z. I could run like a Nasty Plot, Soft Boiled, Psychic. Let's say they have a Dark type Aura Sphere. And a set like that could really bust through a team. I can go bulky. I could go fast with that, depending on the team structure. It just has a lot of options, really easy to build around. I really enjoy having it here. And we'll move on to my second pick here. And shocker, me, Mr. Snorlax here, with the team being the San Diego Snorlax in this league, decided to draft Snorlax. We have used Snorlax a great many times here, and it is a fantastic mon. It's got 3 very good abilities, actually, because immunity, if you know your opponent's just going to be toxic spamming your team for either that's how they play or just you're being a very bulky team, immunity can be fun to make them waste a turn as you set up or just to get an attack off. Obviously, Thick Fat is very nice for that fire and ice resistance, which with some of my later picks, I'll get into that. But the most common one that probably gets used now is that Gluttony, because let's say I can run like a Figgy Berry here, and Gluttony, if you don't know, rather than getting down to a fourth of your health, you just have to get down to half before a berry pops. So you can run like a recycle berry set, just recycle. We can go Curse or Belly Drum or something. Let's just throw on a Curse and then just 2 attacks, Spy Slam, Earthquake, why not? And, we can run all sorts of different spreads. I'll throw on since it doesn't matter if it's video, I'll throw on the random spread suggests there. We'll go ahead and name this thing. I usually name it Me, Myself, and I. Great song, by the way. Yeah, but I love me some Snorlax. I thought with having that first Mew pick, it'd be a very, very good pair up there. It's kind of disgusting, honestly, because Snorlax is obviously only weak to fighting. Mew resists fighting. One of Mew's main weaknesses there is Ghost, which Snorlax is immune to. So you kind of have that double core there without actually getting into any sort of core. So I was very, very happy to get Snorlax there. It's been, ever since it got, like, those berry sets got really popular, it's been a much higher commodity. So I wanted to wait one more round to get it, but I wasn't sure if I could. And I really, since obviously I love Snorlax, it's my mascot, I love him. I thought, you know what, since I only get him for 4 weeks, I'll go ahead and give him this first one, so that way I can just get my Snorlax out of my system so I can build around some other stuff later in the season. So going on then, a bunch of picks go by, and again, it kind of gets back to me, and some of the really high tier fairies and steels are gone, some of the high tier waters, and I really wasn't sure which direction I wanted to head. So I still decided I'm gonna hold off on my cores just a little while longer. I already kind of have like a little mini core of Snorlax Mew, so I was like, I'm gonna grab one more thing here that can just hit like a truck before I get into some of those cores. I decided to go with Conkeldurr. Conkeldurr is just an absolute beast. Obviously, if you can see from the stats here, he's got 140 base attack, which you can compare, like Snorlax is 110, he was 100. Both those are still considered very good attack stats. This thing just sits up there at 140 and is just like an absolute monster. Breaks through almost everything. There's nothing that really loves to come in on Conkeldurr, especially with, again, another mon that has 3 great abilities. You got the Guts, where you can run Flame Orb sets, or you can just assume that your opponent will try to burn or toxic you, or even with like Scald Burns happening so often, just get that Guts off, having that 1.5 times attack. At that point, your opponent has no good switching anymore. They just have to either outspeed and kill you, or they're going to be sacking something. You got Sheer Force, where you got all the attacks of secondary effects, like that Fire Punch with 10% burn negates that, but then you get that extra boost as well. It's another great way to boost that power times 1.3. And you have another boosting one with that Iron Fist. You can run that Drain Punch, Mach Punch, all that sort of stuff for 1.2 times damage. Thunder Punch, Fire Punch again. Great abilities. You really can't go wrong. You can really just kind of play to the opponent, play to the weak. And again, Conkeldurr has a great amount of like just different moves he can have access to, because he's got the elemental punches there, Drain Punch. You got Priority and Mach Punch, which is super nice. You got Knockoff, which granted almost everything is knockoff these days, but very nice. You got Poison Jab. That's nice. Well, Poison Jab for fairies. Just run a random EV spread there. Just a very fun mon to work around. You can Assault Vest this thing with 4 attacks. You can run bulkier with leftovers or some sort of a berry. It's a lot of fun to play around, and I haven't used it in quite a while. So I don't really have a name set for this one yet. So let's just go with Hercules for now. Name it after, I believe, my good pal Justin used to name his Conkeldurr's Hercules is one of his favorite mons to use. So we'll go with that for now. And moving on, so finally we get to my 4th pick. I'm like, all right, I gotta start building some cores. So I decided I'm gonna grab something that will fulfill 2 of the types I want. If you don't know what type of cores I'm talking about, you have the Firewire Grass and Fairy Steel Dragon. So I went ahead and grabbed Tapu Bulu. as my other tier 1. So at this point, I know I'm not going to be getting any more tier 1s with my draft plan. I have Bulu and I have Mew. So Bulu is obviously, again, just an absolute physical monster. It's got that base 130 attack. It's got decent defense, all right HP, and just all around decent stats. But the nice thing that it provides my team is that Grassy Surge. So I can just slowly, with like Mew and Conkeldurr, some of those fatter things, just sit in the field and slowly just regain some health just from the terrain being up. Granted, my opponent will as well, but you just got to kind of play your cards right there. And again, Bulu has some decent, not as much as the last 3 mons, but it has some decent move pool. It's got fighting moves and Brick Break and Superpower. You can always run Facade or Return or Frustration or something if you really want, but your main purpose is going to be just Horn Leeching and Mega Horning, potentially Leech Cheating. You got that nice Seed Bomb, but you see obviously a lot of that Wood Hammer being that 120 base power grass move. But you can run defensive, you can run Swords Dance, you can run Substitute. It's got a lot of choices here. So let's just say I was going to go Sub, Swords Dance. We'll go Horn Leech, and just for cover, just put on Superpower on there. We'll go Leftovers, I guess, just for Leftovers and Grassy Surge. Tapu Bulu is just a very fun mon. Like I said, it covers 2 of my types. Granted, it really does not get a great fairy type move, and so I kind of knew that, but I was looking at my opponent's drafts, and I figured with the rest of my team that I was kind of planning on getting, I could get around those dragon types all right without it. And I have obviously already have like Conkeldurr for dark types, so I was like, Fairy is obviously a very good offensive type and defensive type, but I'll just hold off on it. I usually name my Bulu something sort of either like lawnmower themed or Mexican themed or something like that. I know one of the names I like to use the last time I used it was El Toro Loco. We'll go with that for now. I know I've named it Sombrero. I've named it a ton of fun stuff. But yeah, we'll go with that for now. And so at that point, I was feeling pretty good about my team. I have nothing super fast or anything, but I've got a couple of very hard-hitting mons between that Conkeldurr and that Tapu Bulu. I have some defensive monsters in Mew and Snorlax. They have some versatility to be offensive as well. So I'm like, all right, I got to really start going in this team now. I got to get in here. So I was going to pick my Mega. So this is where the first kind of snipe happened in my draft. I was planning on going with Mega Manectric. I absolutely love Mega Manectric. It's probably my favorite Mega design-wise, and just I love playing with it. It's super fast, hits decently hard on that special side, which is what I was looking for. And unfortunately, before it got back to me, someone else decided that they wanted it to. Another thing that Mega Manectric does provide is that Intimidate, which is super nice, but yeah, it got taken. So at that point, I had to kind of rethink things. I'm like, all right, let me look for another fast electric type, and I was looking around because obviously that grass strain will weaken the ground moves as well. So I was like, okay, that's not bad. And I was looking, and there was really nothing kind of higher tier that I was really a fan of with my team. So I was like, okay, I can figure this out later. So I'm like, instead I'll figure out my Mega. And again, I was looking at my options, and for like tier 1 Megas, there was a couple of decent ones left. Like I think Mega Diancie was still on the field. I think Mega Garvor was still on the field. Some pretty fast hitting special attackers, but like I said, I already had grabbed Bulu the previous turn, which if I knew Manectric would go, I probably would have switched those 2 around, but I didn't, so I didn't want another fairy type yet, and so I decided, let's just go with one really fast thing, and I decided to go with Mega Pidgeot. Mega Pidgeot is a Mega I've used a couple of times at least, and I know I've won at least 1 championship, if not 2, with Mega Pidgeot. It is a absolute beast. Bird spam is super nice. It has that no guard ability, so you will not miss those hurricanes. It's 110. Chance to confuse, just absolutely wonderful to have. It gets Heat Wave, Hidden Power, there's all the regular stuff. Let's go ahead and power fighting just for fun. It's Defog, Roost, all sorts of good stuff. But the main purpose of this was just having that fast special attacker to kind of go with my slower physical monsters that I have going here. And of course, we got to name this thing the almighty bird name, Squaw. So we got that going here. And yeah, it was just nice to know that, obviously bird spam is super nice. Things that resist it, rock, steel, electric. And knowing that I had a ground pick in mind for my next pick, and I already had a super powerful grass and fighting mon behind me to take care of some of those rock and steel types, I was actually quite pleased with how well Pidgeot fit on my team. I was just very happy with it. So I was ecstatic, and it's really fun to have it back on the team here. And like I said, I had ground type in mind for my next pick. I saw that as of round 6, Mamoswine still had not been taken, which I was kind of shocked. Like Mamoswine is usually a pretty highly sought after commodity. It's a very, very good thing to have around when with all those dragons running loose. To have that priority ice shard. You have ice stuff like icicle spear, icicle crash. We'll put on that. Obviously, a super powerful stab earthquake there, and most strong knockoff is another move. You have a lot of options as far as you can choice scarf this thing, you can band it. We'll just throw a scarf on there for now. It's got that same thick fat ability as Snorlax to help it resist some of that fire move and ice moves. And then, depending on who you're going up against too, if your opponent has hail, you can throw on Snow Cloak or Oblivious or something for fun. Most time you'll see that thick fat. Let's throw on some EVs there. I have a couple of names I use for my Mamoswines as well. I've used Manny the Mamoswine from Ice Age. I've used other stuff, but I like to name mine Sub-Zero. It's just a very fun name for me anyway. I am very happy to have this. Like I said too, like that gives me now 3 different things. Technically 4, I guess, with Mega Pidgeot to have priority attacks. Because Mega Pidgeot has quick attack. Don't know how often I'll run it, but you have that. You have Mach Punch on that Hercules over here, and then Mew having access to a couple of different priority, I believe, but the main one being SE Vacuum Wave a little bit here and there. So I like how my priority is showing up here. And again, though, I noticed that again with my last 2 picks, I'm like, well, crap, I really don't have any cores still, like as far as that goes. That's the one thing I keep on seeing all these great mons still left on the board, and I get all excited, and I'm like, oh man, I can't believe this is still left. It's just so amazing. And then I look at my team, I'm like, oh, but I don't have any sort of a core going. So I decided I'm going to start building that fire water uh, grass core since I already have the Bulu, which is mainly a grass type, not really a fairy in my opinion. So I decided to go for one of the few fire types that were left in that tier 3 there that I've used before. I wanted another thing above base 100 speed to kind of go with that Mega Pidgeot, and I wanted something else too that could help break those steel types down for Mega Pidgeot. So I decided to go with my boy Salazzle here. Salazzle is a fantastic, fantastic Pokemon. I absolutely love using it. I've used it many times. It's kind of become a staple almost for me at this point because if you don't know, I'm not a huge fan of fire types, honestly. If I draft one, it usually is just for the sake of having the core, and I usually don't use them very offensively. Salazzle and Victini are like the 2 that I do like to draft. I do like using them. I do use them offensively. So Salazzle has that great ability Corrosion, so I can toxic anything. I can toxic poison types, steel types, all that good stuff. So yeah, I can throw on a toxic on there. It gets nasty plot, so another thing that can set up there, which is nice to kind of go with. I have a bunch of setup options now because this is nasty plot. Work up on Mega Pidgeot if I want to. Swords Dance on Bulu. Bulk up on Hercules. I got Curse and Belly Drum on Snorlax. I have Nasty Plot, Calm Mind, Swords Dance, Bulk up, whatever I want on Mew. So I have a lot of breaking options at this point. And with a couple of faster things now, on my draft, I feel pretty confident that I can handle fairly any wall core fairly well and be able to get out of there without losing too much. You can run a lot of stuff. As I say, I'll throw on a Life Orb on this one and just max speed there. Salazzle, I always name it after one of the guys in the league. Yeah, Cameron Blaze it. Although it's always funny because obviously the Salazzles are always female. I always refer to it as your boy, and then I also name it after Cam. So I'm not sure if he's ever noticed that I name it after him or not because I haven't used it in this league for a while, but I name it after in all my other leagues. So Cam, if you're watching, love you, bro. But yeah, I absolutely love Salazzle. Very excited to have it back in my team again. And moving on, again, I still see that for the most part, my team is fairly physical. Mew obviously can go either way, but my next 3 picks after Mew were all physical. Mamoswine is physical. So I'm sitting at kind of even, kind of a low physical. So I wanted one more fast thing on my team before we get into some of my more wall cards. So I decided to go for Raichu down in tier 5. I decided, like I said, early on when my Mega Metric went by, I saw there was a couple of good left types. You got like Electros, you had Raichu, you had Magneton, a couple good ones sitting down in the lower tiers that I was happy with taking instead, so I decided to save those for later. Saw some of those starting to get picked, and people started to look at electric types that didn't have them yet, so I decided to take my Raichu before it left. Again, I like Raichu because it does go above the base 100 speed. Base 110 is a very good place to be at. Speed ties a lot of stuff and beats the rest. Again, another great setup option with Nasty Plot again. I can go with Thunderbolt. It's got Grass Knot. It's got Focus Blast. It has a pretty good move pool. It gets access to Surf. We'll throw a Focus Sash in this one. We can go as Static or Lightning Rod, depending on what you're trying to do. I usually prefer Lightning Rod just because obviously Electric Mew is nice, especially when you have stuff like Mega Pidgeot sitting over there. But you know, if you're going up against someone that has some faster physical things you want to try and slow it down, you can always go for that static. You can't really go wrong. Yeah, at this point, like I said, I'm still fairly happy with my team. I have pretty much everything I wanted. I wanted to make sure that I got myself a fire type. I want my ground type. Ground types are, in my opinion, are very important in the league. Getting that fast electric, which we'll name this Cheese or Queso. I name it both. We'll go Queso. So, like, I have a couple faster things. I have a couple slower physical threats, some middle tier stuff. I'm just very happy with all setting up. I just need to round out this draft with a couple of picks here to get my cores leveled up here. So I decided to go with Tyrantrum for my next pick. Tyrantrum was pointed out to me actually by one of the other mods. I was kind of talking to them about it and just being like, hey, so like I still need a dragon type, I still need a water type, still need a steel type, and there's a couple other types I'm still looking at, but I'm like, we were talking over a couple of options. We were talking over like you had Noivern still down in tier 4. You had Dragon was one of the main ones I was looking at down in tier 4. And one of them pointed out, they're like, hey, one of them would be really crazy good in your grassy terrain. And I probably shouldn't tell you this, but Tyrantrum. And I looked at it and I was like, you know, I've never used Tyrantrum before, but let me look at it real quick. And I pulled up the stuff to take a look versus like Dragon and other options. And I was looking at this thing and I was like, you know what, this is a beefy little dragon here. I am gonna take it. So I decided to go with it. Tyrantrum does give me that's another thing I guess I never pointed out outside of Mew is like I do have access to rocks now with this Mew and Mammothswine as well. But yeah, I guess access to Stealth Rocks, but I have a feeling mainly I'm going to be using it as either like a Choice Scarf or a Bander. Gets access to a nice Dragon Dance. You can Dragon Dance up, throw an Outrage. We can go for a nice Rock move of some sort. Probably, honestly, we'll go with Head Smash just because it's fun. And we'll throw on Earthquake too, why not? And then that's the other thing I forgot to mention. Actually, I said I was going to mention it. Salazzle is one of my Z users. I already mentioned Mew was, and then Tyrantrum is going to be my third. It's going to be my low tier Z user. Usually, if I draft Raichu, I like to make it my Z user just because access to that Z grass or Z fighting or Z surf are very helpful with Raichu to help break a couple things that has issues with. But I thought that Tyrantrum just already being very powerful, having that quick little boost, and then also the fact that Mew will probably most of the time be special, and then Salazzle is special, having that physical option as a Z user too would be really nice over the Raichu. So we did go with that there. So let's say I wanted to go with like a Rocky MZ. We can throw that Rocky MZ on there. And it's just a very, very cool looking Pokemon. I'm very excited to use it. For the first time, like I said, this will be one of those tests for me where I haven't used it before. I will probably try to bring it to at least one game, considering I only have it for 4 weeks, to see if I can make it work. But yeah, I'm very excited for it. It did give me my Dragon type that I needed, so now I am just lacking that Water and that Steel type that I needed, along with a couple other types. But like I said, I was more focused on getting those cores rounded out, especially with the draft coming to an end here. One thing I really like too is I really like Tyrantrum Shiny, that nice blue and white. And I guess I haven't decided on a name for this thing either, but let's just go with we'll go with Lockjaw for now. I always like that name, so we'll go with Lockjaw. And kind of one thing for me too is like I almost always will pick a very bulky water type early on in the draft. Like I'll pick like a Milotic or a Suicune within my first 3 picks. So this was a very unusual draft for me in the fact that up to this point, I have 9 of my 11 picks and I hadn't picked a water type yet. So again, I'm stuck in the low tiers at this point. Don't have any points or spots open for a higher tier pick. So I'm looking through my options. I have a couple of decent ones, but Blastoise is the one that kind of stood out to me. Because up to this point, outside of Defog on either Mega Pidgeot or Mew, I didn't really have any great hazard removal. And the one thing that Blastoise did have was Rapid Spin. So I was very happy with that. So we got some options in this thing. It's actually got a decent move pool. You got Rapid Spin, we'll go Scald. We can throw a Toxic on there. If we want to get cheeky, we can go for Refresh. Throw on some leftovers. You never know what you want. But yeah, very fun little low tier mon, one of those Kanto starters, one of the OGs. I used Blastoise and Squirtle and Wartortle and all that good stuff back when I first started playing. One of my first games was Fire Red, so I got good memories of Blastoise here. And of course, we gotta give this thing a name, so let's just go ahead and we'll call it Shell Shocked after a game that I love playing. On top of that, it's obviously just a very fun name thing. It's a turtle, and yeah, I'm hoping to bring Shell Shock to the channel at some point here, but yeah, yeah, so it's a decently bulky. Got that base 100 defense, base 105 special defense, base almost 80 HP, which is a little lackluster, but it's all right. Yeah, so you have some fun stuff up in here, and I'm really excited to use it. It does get a couple of kind of tech moves that I have used in the past. I've used Blastoise once, I think, and I enjoyed using it, so I'm hoping to bring that to this team as well. And at this point, like I said, like there's really three types I really wanted left. I really wanted a steel type. I really wanted another fairy type outside of that blue, just to give me uh, that like fairy actual moves. Because outside of Dazzling, which obviously blue is a physical attacker, it's not very helpful. But I did decide to steel for my team. I definitely could use a steel type. Could use that fairy resist to help him out with Kinkelder and Tyrantrum. So I was deciding between three of them. I did end up deciding on Scavalier. The other two I was looking at was either Durant or uh, I'm forgetting the other one's name. Liberty Bell. It'll come to me. But yeah, I decided on Scavalier. I've used Scavalier a few times before. It's decently bulky and it hits really hard too. I feel like I have a couple of a lot more physical attackers than I normally have on a team here. Between I got like, and I'm talking like the strong physical attackers, like between like Kinkelder, Bulu, Mamoswine, Tyrantrum, Scavalier, they all have like a really high base attack. But yeah, again, I have a lot of options as far as ability. I can go Overcoat if I'm going up against like an Amoonguss, somebody I don't want to get Spored. I can go Shell Armor just to avoid any of those pesky crits that tend to happen. Or if I really want to try and the extra power, I can always go Swarm and get that Mega Horn off. Throw on the Mega Horn there. Scavalier also gets a really nice amount of moves. He gets access to Drill Run. He gets access to Knockoff. We'll throw Knockoff on there. He gets access to Iron Head, obviously. We'll throw Iron Head in there as well, but I'll show a couple more off. We got Poison Jab, Pursuit, X Scissor, obviously, if I don't want to miss the Mega Horns, which is a problem. Yeah, if you want to go some a little more unused moves, you can go with like Bug Bite, Aerial Ace. There's one more I was going to point out too. Which one was it? It gets Infestation too, which I don't think I've ever seen anyone use. Where was it? I don't know what the other one I was going to point out was. Yeah, but it has some great abilities, some great moves. We can throw this off as those things for fun. Almost always want to name this thing Lance. Just very obvious nickname. He's got the lances for arms. But I've always enjoyed that. It's got kind of a fun shiny too with that nice pink. I always enjoy using the shinies that are really fun, like that Tyrantrum shiny I really like. I really like Salazzle shiny as well. I usually keep it non-shiny though, just for the sake of I like that nice sleek black look, especially for Cam. But yeah, so I was really happy to get that Scavalier as my last pick. I feel pretty strong overall about the team. I think obviously, like I said, it'll only be for the 4 weeks. So if it doesn't work out perfectly, it doesn't work out perfectly, and that's okay. But I'm very happy with how it turned out. I'm very excited. Probably I think my favorite pick is that Mega Pidgeot, just because it's been a hot minute since I've been able to use it. Absolutely love it. One of my favorite Megas, probably top 5, maybe top 3, up there with like Mega Manectric and Mega Mawile. But yeah, overall, I'm very excited here. I will hopefully be bringing probably early next week, the first week of battle, we face off against our good pal Ryan or T. Rowe Price. I'll be sure there. I also, if you didn't notice, I am going to be finally moving on to some actual thumbnails for these videos. So if you have any suggestions on how to make some better thumbnails or any suggestions on how to change the current one I'm using, with the one I'll have in this video, the question mark will be replaced by hopefully the team logo of whoever I'm playing. I hope to add our league logo onto there at some point. I'm just waiting. We're trying to find it here. One of the mods or owners has it, and we're all kind of talking to each other trying to figure out who has it. But for the time being, that's missing in action. But I'm sure we'll find it at some point. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to this here. Like I said, I am planning to try and bring some other games to the channel too outside of just league play, especially when I only have the one league going. That way I can hopefully have more than one upload per week. Like I said, I want to play some Shell Shocked on the channel. If you guys know of any other fun, free, or relatively cheap games that you guys have that you want to play with me, I'd love to bring some other people on the channel, or just that you want to see me play, let me know. Until then, I really look forward to bringing you guys week 1 next week here, and I hope you enjoyed the video.